Good morning, students. Welcome once again. Today we are going to discuss class 7th history, chapter number 3rd, the Delhi Sultans. In the previous video we have studied about the subtopics. So in this video, first we will go through the overview of the subtopics which we have studied in the earlier class. The Masjid, Quwat al-Islam, Begumpuri Mosque, Mauth Ki Masjid, Mosque of Jamali Kamali. These are the subtopics which we are going to discuss here. The mosque, the Arabic word masjid, this is the place of congregation where Muslims prostrate in reverence to Allah. Congregation means they gather in a group and the congregation elect their leader. The leader will be known as Imam, and the Imam will deliver sermon, khutbah during the Friday prayer. And the faces of Muslims will be towards Makkah, that is in India in west. Understand? Afterward we are coming about the second one, Quwat al-Islam, the mosque in Delhi that is described in Delhi Ai-Kunha, the Delhi Chronicles in 14th century. The mosque has been enlarged by Iltutmish and Alauddin Khalji, and the minar had been built by Iltutmish and Qutbuddin Aibak. Second mosque is Begumpuri Mosque, that is in Jahanpanah, that was the part of Delhi Sultanate city, and that is a congregation mosque that is known as the sanctuary of the world, that was made by Muhammad Tughlaq. And afterward Mauth Ki Masjid, that was made by Sikandar Lodi in Delhi. And last one is Mosque of Jamali Kamali, that was made in late 1520s century. So I hope that you have understood all these subtopics clearly, and afterward we are coming the next subtopics that are related to the chapter. The subtopics which we are going to discuss in this chapter, the subtopics are a closer look administration and consolidation under the Khaljis and Tughlaqs, Bandagan, clients, Iqtidar or Muktis, taxes. We are going to discuss to these terms. So a closer look, we are going to we will observe the administration and the consolidation, how the Delhi Sultans consolidates their sultanate, make them strong, how they made a strong sultanate throughout the subcontinent, throughout India, under the Khaljis and Tughlaqs. And here we are going to study about Khaljis and Tughlaqs, how they controlled the vast territory of Delhi Sultanate. So before starting it, so we know that Delhi Sultans, they did not believe on aristocrats, the person who were in high rank, and the local chieftains, the leaders. So they thought, especially Iltutmish thought that he would purchase slaves, and he purchased slaves to provide higher rank in the Sultanate. And he also looked after them, and these slaves were known as Bandagan. These slaves were known as Bandagan. In Persian we say Bandagan slaves, and they were appointed as governors because Iltutmish and especially Delhi sultans, they didn't believe to aristocrats and aristocrats and the clients, because they would search the opportunity and they would be in a strong position, they would rebel. So only Iltutmish was believing on Bandagan, the slaves he had purchased. Afterward we are going to discuss about the term clients. As we know that Tughlaqs and Khaljis also, they were believing on slaves whom they had purchased. They also purchased slaves for providing them higher rank as a governors to assess, to collect taxes. Understand? So afterward what had happened, we are going to study here, discuss the term clients. Clients means one who is hanger on, dependent. So those slaves were dependent on the rulers, the sultans, because they looked after them. They were patrons. So they were believing on their patron. Understand? After that, we get that these slaves got higher ranks. They had been appointed as governors. So the authors of Tawarikh means in Persian, we know that Tawarikh, the writers, the stories that were written by the writers on that time, that was known as Tawarikh by many learned person. So the writer of Tawarikh, they criticized Delhi Sultan to provide higher rank to such low born race people. Afterward what had happened, we are coming that the difficulty always came in light when the new monarch will come. The new monarch would come means that when the new monarch would access on the sultan position, on that time the slaves of old sultan and the new sultan, the slaves that who are governors in higher rank, they would be what? They would not be treated properly by new monarch, old slaves. So there were rivalry, differences among them. They were not respecting the new monarch, the old slaves. So it was also criticized by the scholars for the policy that were adopted by Tughlaqs and Khaljis. So here we are getting that officials of Sultan Muhammad Tughlaq. Sultan Muhammad Tughlaq had appointed some official from low-born based people. That were, he appointed Aziz Kumar, wine distiller, who is making wine. Afterward, he had also appointed Firoz Hazam, a barber, Manka Tabak, a cook, and 2 gardeners, Ladha and Pira, to high administrative posts. Ziauddin Barni, a mid-14th century chronicler, reported their appointments as a sign of the Sultan's loss of political judgment and his incapacity to rule. When he appointed such low-born race people, Ziauddin Barni, the chronicles of that century, 14th century, he had criticized to appoint such low-born people on the higher position, and that was indicated by him the incapacity of ruling. Afterward we are coming the next term, that is Ikta. Ikta means land. Ikta means your land. When the governors were appointed, they had to control over the Iktas, the land, and those who have control over the land, they have some they had some military responsibilities as a commander, and the person who had control over the land, Ikta, was known as Iktedar or Muktis. And Iktedar and Muktis had the responsibility of military campaign. They were working as a governor. They were collecting taxes from the designated Iktas, lands, territories, whatever the territories, and they also collected the taxes whatever the Iktas had been prescribed to them, not more than them. And they would provide the salaries, they would distribute the salaries to their soldiers, and they have military responsibilities. Their position was not so strong, it was unsteady position. They had not to control over Iktas for a long stretch of time. It was for short span of time. And governors were also appointed by Tughlaqs and Khaljis to control over the Iktedar. That Iktedar was not collecting the taxes more than the Iktas had been given to them. So the condition of Iktedar was very tough. Only they were collecting the taxes from the area that were designated to them. And accountants were appointed by the sultans to look after the work of Iktedar. Understand? Afterward, Alauddin Khalji had taken the control of collecting taxes. The Alauddin Khalji had taken the control of collecting taxes in his hand, and he had cancelled the right of levying taxes of the local chieftains and landlords and the aristocrats, the higher ranked people who were taking taxes on the designated area. And afterward, these local chieftains were paying taxes to Alauddin Khalji. And Alauddin Khalji has also controlled over the markets. The price had been fixed. He had fixed the price of everything. And the local chieftains, the right of the local chieftains who were levying taxes, taking taxes from others, these rights had been cancelled. And 3 types of taxes were taken by, and he had also appointed the chieftains, the old chieftains, as an assessor who was assessing the taxes. And he also he has appointed the governors, appointed the local chieftains, old chieftains, as an assessor, and the lands were measured. And 3 types of taxes were prominent. These 3 types of taxes were on kharaj, a type of tax, 50% on the cultivation, on the produce from the peasants, that tax were taken. Afterward, the taxes were on cattle, and after the cattle were on the house, on the home. The third tax was on the home houses. Understand? So we know that after that, the Delhi sultans tried to control over beyond Delhi, Bengal and southern India, but it was difficult to enter in this area. Muhammad Tughlaq and Alauddin Khalji had entered in southern India, but they were only successful for short span of time, not for larger time, not for long span of time. And their armies had to be returned. And the chieftains, the leaders who were fearful, so they had been taken shelter in mountain areas. Ibn Battuta, the chroniclers of that time, had described that they had taken shelter in mountains and rugged area in bamboo groups, so that the Sultanate armies couldn't penetrate in that area. Understand? And after that word, Genghis Khan had also invaded Mongol. He was in the leadership of Genghis Khan, 1219. Genghis Khan also invaded on Iran, Transoxiana in 1219. In the leadership of Genghis Khan, Mongol tribes, they had attacked, and after that they had also attacked on Delhi during the time of Muhammad Tughlaq and Alauddin Khalji. And how these two rulers had faced these challenges, we will discuss these in the next video. So I hope that you have understood all these subtopics clearly. Thanks for watching the video.